pleasure to be here. I'm on the stage tonight to convince you of one thing, that what other people think does matter. And not in the way you might think, not in the terms of getting self-conscious about it. What actually matters is how the people closest to you treat you and what they believe that you're capable of. I'd like to start with a story. It's a story about a monastery that had fallen upon hard times, and there were only 5 monks left, all in their 70s. They spent their time fretting about their dying order. And one day, a rabbi visited this monastery, and the monks asked him if he could help. He paused, he thought about their question, and he said, "I'm sorry, there's really nothing that I can do for you." So they prayed together, they wept, and as the rabbi was leaving, he turned around and he said, "One thing that I do know for certain, one thing that I'm sure of is that one of you is the Messiah." He left and the monks started to ponder the rabbi's words. What could he have meant? One of us is the Messiah? And in the weeks that followed, on the off chance that it could be true, the monks started to treat each other with the extraordinary respect and the love that they would have bestowed upon the Messiah. And they started to treat themselves with that same love and respect. Visitors to the monastery could sense a powerful aura of love and respect that surrounded the monks. They would come and spend hours talking with them until one day, one of them asked if he could join the order. And then, another, and another. Within a few years, the monastery was once again a center of light and spirituality in the world. The monks in my story are Tyler, Teju, Mega, and Dan, my team at the Unreasonable Institute. And before moving to Colorado, I had a life that was profitable, but it was also pretty lazy and unremarkable. That all changed the day that I drove into Boulder. For the first time in my life, I worked 9 weeks straight, without taking a day off, working long hours, and building some of the most beautiful websites that I've ever built. I also learned to speak in public, I learned to organize events, and I learned to be a coach and a mentor to entrepreneurs. And you know what? It came pretty naturally because of the people that I was surrounded with. What I learned from this is that if you want to be excellent, then surround yourself with people that treat you like the Messiah, people that show you love and respect, people that expect the best of you, and people that focus on your strengths. The first one's pretty obvious, so I'm going to focus on the other two. When you surround yourself with people that have very high expectations of you, it actually materially changes what you're capable of. In psychology, this is called the Pygmalion effect. And one of the best examples I've seen is a study done by Professor Robert Rosenthal at a middle school. Now, what Professor Rosenthal did is they took this class of middle schoolers and they told a 20% random sample that, based on a test they had taken, they were going to have an intellectual growth spurt that year. They told that to their teachers, they told it to their peers, and before the year was even up, at the end of the first semester, those students had outperformed their peers. On average, their IQs had improved twice as much as those of their peers. Now, what this says to me is that the expectations of those around you actually shape your performance. So, I'd like to talk about the third one, which is being part of a community that focuses on your strengths. But we live in a world that really tends to try to fix weaknesses. But the truth is that no matter how hard I try, I am never going to be a world champion bodybuilder. But what I do know is that if I focus on my latent talents, there's a really good chance that I'm going to become excellent at something. The Gallup poll has over the last decade has polled over 10 million people about their work situation. And what they found is that those that bring in the most revenue, those that have the most satisfied customers, those that in general are happiest with their lives, work on teams that focus on their strengths. This might seem totally obvious, but what they've also found is that 67% of people out there don't work on teams that focus on their strengths. So all this begs the question, what does it look like when a community focuses on your strengths? To answer this question, I'd like to take you back to 2002, when PayPal was still a young startup. Back then, PayPal had a very special culture. The team had ridiculously high expectations of each other. Everybody was involved in decision-making, everybody was aware of the company's finances, and most importantly, people were brought on to do what they were best at. Because of this, PayPal was very successful, and in that same year, they were acquired by eBay. eBay's more corporate culture drove out all the original PayPalers. And if the story ended here, it would be a pretty sad story. But what happened was that the original PayPal team, using what they learned at PayPal, and because of the support of their community, went on to found a bunch of successful startups, some of which you might have heard of. The original PayPal team started companies like YouTube, Kiva, Yelp, Zynga, Tesla Motors, Slide.com, SpaceX, Yammer, and LinkedIn. Now I'd like to show you what this kind of community looks like in my life. At the Unreasonable Institute, we mentor entrepreneurs who are working on social and environmental problems. We bring them to Boulder, Colorado from all over the world for just 6 weeks. And in those 6 weeks, we witness them form some of the most tight bonds that I've seen people be able to form. These are people like Raj Janagam, a 23-year-old from India who's launching one of the first bike-sharing systems in India. There are people like Maria, who helps women who live in Guatemala in slums earn more money through vermicomposting. And there are people like Morris Matadi, a former child soldier from Liberia, who's using business and employment to rehabilitate other former child soldiers. What I'm about to show you is a clip from the last days of the Institute, and I want you to listen to the way that people treat each other and what they have to say.
I've been kind of waiting for this community for a long time.
This is the first time in my life, and I really felt what it meant to be with a bunch of people that really made you grow personally.
All of us are unique in a way, but combined as a team, we can change the world.
Walking away from here, I know that you guys are going to change the world. I really believe that.
You guys are the ones that are going to create impact in the world. And I wish you the humility to realize that you alone won't do it. But I wish us all the idealism to understand that together, that we will.
And when I hear these stories, I know that the world will bend. The history will bend. The earth will bend because you guys are so powerful. I believe in nothing more in my entire life than every single person gathered here. And right at this moment, I feel wildly inadequate, not because I don't believe that, but because I just don't have the words to tell you guys how much I believe this.
That's why I get up every day and work as hard as I know how to support these people. I am convinced that they're going to make our world a better place. And it's being part of this community that pushes me to seek excellence. Now, Jeremy asked me to leave you guys with a takeaway, with something for you guys to go home with. And I have to tell you guys that I'm sorry, but I couldn't think of anything. What I do know, what I'm absolutely certain of, is that one of you is the Messiah. Thank you.